It's natural to ask what is a behavioral economist, because one might think, what's the alternative? What other kind of economist might there be? But economists have traditionally assumed that people are very, very rational, unemotional, and have no self-control problems. In our book, we call these imaginary creatures econs. And behavioral economists assume people are people, that sometimes they eat too much, smoke too much, save too little, and sometimes they need a little help. So probably the most famous nudge comes from Schiphol Airport. And what it is the image of a housefly that has been etched into the men's urinals. And men see it and they aim. And according to the people at the airport, spillage has been reduced by 80%. That housefly has come to stand as the best example of a nudge for me, because it's something that works on humans because we don't pay so much attention, and this attracts our attention and alters our behavior. Behavioral economics is a mixture of psychology and economics. Both parts are important. So you can't have just the psychology, though, because you have to ask yourself the question, what happens in markets? So sometimes people can behave in funny ways, not very smart ways, and markets will make that behavior irrelevant and protect them. So for example, if someone sells me a mortgage that the rate is going to change in 2 years and I won't be able to afford it and my house will be foreclosed, then that's going to be very costly. So we need to understand how the market works and when will the irrational behavior be costly to individuals and to society, and when will markets take care of it? And that's the essence of behavioral economics. Another example of a nudge, a very practical one, is how we choose default options. That is, what happens if we do nothing? So in pension plans in the US, the typical default is if you do nothing, nothing happens. What some companies have done is said, when you're first eligible for the plan, you get a bunch of forms to fill out. If you don't fill them out, they enroll you anyway. So this switches the default, and what we know is whatever you choose as the default, many people will take because they're lazy, they're absent-minded, and so making it the default is a nudge. And switching the default increases the speed with which people join the pension plan by a lot.
Who is nudging us?
You know, the private sector has been nudging and been using modern psychology for many years. If you go into a supermarket, they've thought very carefully about where to place the objects, and they've arranged the store so you will walk by the places that have the most tempting and profitable items. So they're nudging you. And the government has not been as smart about how it uses these tools. Now, we didn't invent these tools, and the tools can be used for good or for evil. Bernie Madoff knew how to trick people. What we're trying to do is just get the government to be as smart as a huckster. Now, that's not so that the government can trick you, though I can't prevent it.
Should we be aware or unaware of a nudge?
There need not be any deception involved in nudging. And in fact, I advocate transparency. So in one of the examples in the book, there are signs that if you're driving around, tell you what speed you're driving. It's no secret what the purpose of that is. And they work. In fact, they work better than speed cameras that give fines. They're more cost effective. So we can nudge people in a completely open way and still have an effect.